All right, everyone. I think we are good to go. We'll start off with our session for today, and meanwhile, others will be joining in. Once again, good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in for our session number 3. Today, we'll kind of take forward the discussion that we were having yesterday on the part of customer behavior analytics. So we had kind of looked at some of the aspects of metrics, data, RFM segmentation. We'll look at the churn part first today, so that we'll cover up from the session 2 perspective. And then we move towards product and price analytics. So over here, let me quickly kind of take you through the broad overview with respect to product and price related metrics. We will look at the data, we look at the matrices which are being used and some of the tools along with their demos uh, in the session today. Overall, we are with respect to our asynchronous content, the session number 3, which is live session 3, is mapped to module 3 from your upgrade platform asynchronous content. And this is where we'll kind of complete our second week of the discussions. In our next weekend, we will kind of go towards the module 4, which is where we look at the campaign analytics. And with that, I think we'll be able to kind of conduct even the simulation part pretty well. And at any point of time, if you guys have any questions, queries, clarifications in our session today, or let's say from the previous sessions, do let me know. You can mention in the chat or you can talk about it. Let's look at the session 3 perspective as well. Let's say overall plan that we have for today. So we will first revisit session number 2, have a quick recap of the key concepts. We'll actually cover the churn part that I was talking about. So that is what we will go through first. Then we look at the optimization from the product feature and the price perspective. So there are a lot of concepts like market basket analysis, sentiment analysis, uh, capturing the product data itself. So how can we do the surveys? What are the matrices which can be looked at? And which are the tools which can be used for capturing these aspects and then therefore taking decisions on the basis of this. So this is what we will be kind of discussing in our session today. Uh, Now, before we kind of go through the session 3 part, the product and price part, let me take you through the session 2 and some of the aspects that we were left with. So in our session number 2, we discussed about, let's say, a quick recap of session 1, and then we moved towards, first of all, looking at the data points. So we looked at a difference between customer and consumer yesterday. Then we started delving on what are the different data that we will collect, identity data, something about what customers are doing in the process of buying, why are they doing a particular action, and then how are they going about their entire purchase decision. This is what roughly we discussed from the data perspective. And then we started delving onto various matrices. So we looked at customer acquisition cost. We looked at how its implications are for looking at the business model. Then we started moving on to the part of customer lifetime value, and we use both customer lifetime value and CAC to understand the business model. Apart from this, we looked at revenue, which is across the industries a benchmark parameters to compare companies also. But of course, revenue was divided into two parts, operational and non-operational. So always remember that operating revenue is something which is of higher importance. Okay. Now, apart from this, we also have the concept of net promoter score along with CSAT, which we kind of looked at, compared it together, and then understood from the industry perspective. So CSAT is more specific. NPS is the overall brand experience measurement. Uh, Particularly from customer service point of view, we looked at ART and FCR, two important matrices, particularly in contact center or call center. And we wind it up with a new metric which is emerging, which is called as CES, Customer Effort Score. Some companies also call it as Customer Effort Index. And here we are asking a question: is the company making it easy for the customer when we are trying to solve their problems? Okay. So these were some of the matrices, and then we started looking at the methods. In this particularly, we looked at one specific method, which is where banking on the concept of segmentation. We looked at RFM. Okay. So we had a demo yesterday and we looked at it in Excel. You can implement this in tools, other tools as well, like NIME, SAS, SPSS. Now, One part that we couldn't discuss yesterday was the customer churn as a concept and strategy. So over here, let's first spend time on this, and then we move on to our session number three subject. Uh, Now, what happens over here, why people talk about customer churn and therefore customer retention is, if you have done sales, whether in the B2C market or B2B market, you would already know that when we do sales, you get to understand that all your existing customers are the ones which can actually give you new business. If you go in the open market and try to capture new customers, then this is where the probability of conversion is low and there is a lot of effort required. So the probability of selling to an existing customer is like 60 to 70%, while reaching out to a new prospect, then making them convert, this is where we have 5 to 20% chances. So always it is better that we retain our existing customers. And even from the cost perspective, it costs 6 to 7 times more in terms of money, in terms of resources, efforts to gain a new customer. So once we have gained the new customer, it becomes very important that we retain them, especially the profitable ones. If you look at those customers where the customer lifetime value is more than the customer acquisition cost, so that this is something which is going to be very critical. Okay. Now, what happens over here is if you have a 5% increase in customer retention, it translates into 25 to 95% in company's profitability. That means a huge plus is happening if we are able to do something on the side of customer retention itself. So very small effort, maybe designing a loyalty program, reaching out to the customers, solving for their problems. If there are any issues, can we kind of do a cross-selling, upselling, but can we retain the customer? So this is something which is very critical for any company, whether you're working in the B2C market or B2B market. Now, following up from this concept, uh, let's also look at the leading causes of customer churn, and you can relate to it from your own personal experiences. Why people leave a particular company as a customer is because maybe there was poor onboarding. So when you bought the product, after that there was no direction in terms of how the best products can be used. Uh, you needed assistance, there was no assistance provided. So poor onboarding journey or first worst experience after you have bought the product, this itself causes a lot of churn. Okay, so this is an important part that we keep the onboarding very smooth. Then comes the customer relationship part. So are people able to kind of get their problems resolved? Do they have someone to reach out to or not? These are two key reasons. Then of course, poor customer service or difficult experience, or maybe our complaints getting ignored. These are some of the key reasons across industries through which we can try to solve for. And then maybe we'll be covering around 88% of the causes of the churn. This itself is a good piece to work on, simplify the processes, work on the customer experience perspective, and therefore we can retain the customers. Now, what should we do? How should we measure it as a analytics person? So here is an example from e-commerce industry or those companies which are using mobile apps particularly. Okay. What they do is they look at daily active user. It is called as DAO for short. And the idea is that, suppose a person has downloaded your mobile app, then on a daily basis, how many people are actually going to the app, exploring something, taking some action? We monitor it on a daily basis. We compare it with the weekly active user base. We compare it also with the monthly active user base. We keep a trend of all these three things: daily active user, DAO, WOW, and MAU is what we call it. And we can compare these matrices across the companies, across industries, and try to get an idea of do we have people coming back again and again to our app? Okay. Similarly, you can think about a retail store. You can think about website. Are people coming back to our assets again and again? That itself is an indication that probably our churn will be minimized. Now, apart from this, in those apps where there's let's say gaming apps, where there is a lot of engagement, maybe on a daily basis itself, you go to these apps multiple times. Here we also look at sessions per daily active user. For example, if you look at Netflix or Amazon Prime, Disney Hotstar, Z5, if you want to compare them all, we can look at session per daily active user to see if people are going to Netflix most of the time, or are they going Amazon Prime, and so on and so forth. So we can have a competitive benchmarking with the help of very simple matrices. And the best part is that if you're having an Android app, then Google will report you the data. You have the Google Android store. Through that, you can get this data. You also have other ways of, let's say, the third-party tools like Google Analytics, or even, let's say, in case of apps, there is a tool called as Flurry. Okay? So there are various apps, tools available to get to understand these matrices. Now, on the basis of this monitoring, we can think about churn prevention. So then we can strategize, create our steps. Let's say over here, 5 easy to implement steps, which we can look at for preventing churn would be, first, let's create a culture of personalization. Now, personalization means we are able to understand the needs and preferences of our customer so that we can provide them a very specific assistance. Okay, so this is something which itself is a major plus. Then of course we have the point number 2, which is where, let's start with the onboarding journey. We in fact discussed in the previous slides that onboarding itself, or the customer's first experience after the product itself, is a task where if we can improve the experience, then maybe we'll retain the customers. Then we try to incorporate the feedback and suggestions. In fact, we can work on customer feedback and suggestions. We can ourselves work a lot better on improving products, services, offerings, come up with new ideas, and so on and so forth. There's no replacement for customer service. So of course, this is a very critical part, especially in companies where we're dealing with multiple customers, huge customer bases. Then we have to solve for customer service. And of course, pricing strategy. So here, from the pricing strategy is not only the product price, what happens after that? Okay, so let's say the cost of service, discount, maybe some additional benefits, bonuses. Those are all the things that we should try to kind of look at while we are looking at an effective pricing strategy. Okay, so these 5 areas is something which itself will help us to do most of the heavy lifting in terms of retaining customers. And these are few points which probably were there from our session number 2. So I've just uh, taken you through that part first. And on that note, now we will be moving back to our session number 3. And this is where I skip this customer behavior review that we had. So this is what we have already discussed. Coming back to the product analytics key concepts, and over here, before starting off with this part, I have a quick question for you. Have you guys got the credentials for the simulation? I have written a mail to Narsimuji team and Upgrad team. So you should get it tomorrow, if not today. Okay. So that's saying not yet. Okay. So Monday for sure, you should be able to get your simulation credential. I think Sunday is off, so that's why probably they would not have done it. But I think with these 2 sessions in place, you will be good to go with your trial runs. Okay. So you will feel more confident of doing the trial run. And then, of course, we have our debriefing session, which happens in the next week, along with session number 4. Okay. So over here, you guys also remind your coordinator that you guys need the credentials of the simulation. For us, let's move towards the product analytics part. Now, product analytics is an important part because ultimately it is going to be about our offering. So the first thing to note over here is we collect data about the product in different stages. Okay, so maybe when you launch a new product, before that itself, you try to do a product trial. Okay, so that you can get a first-hand insight of what will work, what will not work. So product trial itself is where a lot of product data gets captured. Then, of course, after people have purchased the product, they will evaluate it, they will have their own feedbacks. So we call this as product evaluation stage. Now, typically, we will kind of look at what is the product data that we are going to capture, any tools which are there to capture the product data. Then we will define the matrices or KPIs, just like we did in case of customer behavior measurement. What happens in case of product metrics? Then we look at the data analytics. certain tools, and through that we will try to impact CX, which is customer experience. So that is the whole discussion that we have today. Let's first look at the product data types. And over here, if you look at the capturing of this product data, we discussed that during product interaction, or let's say product trial, this is where we can have some level of data coming in. During the product development also, we can capture data. So you're creating a sample model of your product, and this is where you're going to the open market, taking customers' feedback, researching about what competition is doing. So this product development stage is where we pick up some data. Product trial or product interaction, of course, this is where we get to understand for our finished product or about to finish product, what is working, what is not working. And the most valuable will be product feedback. After people have used our product, how are they feeling about it? Okay? How are they going about it? So on that note, technically, there are 4 types of data in these 3 stages. Okay? So these data from the market research perspective, what you guys should know, and also from data analytics perspective, is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Now, what happens in these 3 data or 4 data points is nominal data is that data which can help you to categorize your customers. Okay, so for example, you have a gender, marital status, even age of the people. All the demographic data can help you to understand uh, and segment customers. Okay, so where only segmentation or only categorization is possible, we call that data as nominal data point. Okay, so here you cannot do a rank ordering. Okay? You cannot rank people on the basis of gender. There is no equal interval. There is no range in which the data will vary. These are discrete terms. Okay? There is no true zero. Okay? In case of gender, there is no zero as such. We move to ordinal next. In case of ordinal, what happens is not only you can categorize, but you can do a ranking also. Okay? So this kind of a data point is like grades. So let's say when you are in schools, colleges, you get grades based on your performance. On that basis of grades, we can categorize people. We can also do a rank ordering. But in these grades, we don't have an equal interval. We don't have a true zero. Okay. So we move to the next one, which is interval. Now, interval data is the first kind of data, which is where you can do a quantitative study. In the first nominal and ordinal part, you can only do a qualitative study or understanding. In case of interval, student marks, if we give marks, then of course, over here we have equal intervals. We have order and category defined. If you look at temperature in Fahrenheit, there is no real zero which is defined. There is a range, but we don't have a true zero, which you will find in case of ratio. For example, if you look at height, weight, age of the people, then this is where we have a true zero. Zero, let's say over here in age terms means that the person doesn't exist. Zero height as well, we know that the person doesn't exist. Okay? So here a true zero naturally is getting defined. There is a range in which value can fluctuate, and we have an order and category which is possible. Okay, so we can do a rank ordering, we can do a categorization. So that is called as ratio data. In most of the quantitative market research, we use ratio data. Now I'll give you some example, and then you guys try to guess which is the data type over here for this survey. Okay, so let me kind of take you through this question, these first set of questions. Look at this first question. What is your gender? Okay, so suppose in a survey you are asking about this question to the audience for market research, then which is this type of question? Nominal, right? This is nominal data collection. What is your hair color in this case? What is your hair color, or where do you live? These are all nominal data points. Okay, so we can not rank people on the basis of either of these. These are all nominal data points. But let's look at the next one. How do you feel today? On the basis of on this question, what is the kind of data that we are collecting? If you ask people how satisfied are you with our service, how do you feel today? What is over here possible? So we can, on the basis of this, we can categorize people first of all. We can also do a rank ordering in the sense very happy to least happy. Uh, there is an interval also which is possible. Okay, so the value will vary from 1 to 5 only, right? There is no true zero defined. So this is a kind of interval data. Okay, so over here you can further create questions, which is where you will find that you will have uh, a ratio data possible if you asked people about what is their age, okay? Mention about their height, uh, and so on and so forth. So those kind of parameters is what we try to capture. Now, of course, we get better with this over a period of time. Let's say once you have created market research surveys, over a period of time, you already know which questions are apt for a survey and for a particular target audience. Let's say in Indian market, do people respond to uh, nominal questions better, ordinal questions better, interval better, and ratio better, and so on and so forth. So for each industry product, we might have a combination of these four data types and then create our survey. So for that, I've kept an exercise over here. The exercise is pretty simple, but we will have around 15-20 minutes for the exercise so that you guys as a group try to derive a survey. Now, for this, let me explain you what is the problem that we are trying to solve. So what you have to do is you need to figure out which brand is more successful in India. Okay, I'll just repeat. You're just looking at the Indian market and you're looking at four-wheeler market, and you're trying to guess which brand is more successful between Maruti or Honda. For this, you have to create a survey considering the types of data and the target audience. Okay, so your survey should be comprehensive enough to look at the important aspects of how you will differentiate between Maruti or Honda, and your survey should be able to help. Therefore, if people submit their responses, it should help us to figure out clearly if Maruti is better or Honda is better for the Indian market. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll create a breakout room. But before that, are we all clear with this part? And over here, try to create questions. Try not to create more than 10 questions. Shorter survey, but comprehensive survey if you can create. Also think about nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, and see if you can quantify on the basis of your survey. Okay, so I'll create the breakout room. I'll just create one, and you are three people. So we have Sachin, Subramanya, and Subrat. And you guys work together, discuss it together, and then note down the questions that you will ask in your survey. I think we will keep around 20 minutes. 20 minutes should be sufficient for coming up with maybe 10 or less than 10 questions through which you should be able to conduct this. Okay, so I'll just create the breakout room. We catch back in 20 minutes. All right, everyone. I guess everyone is back. So how did it go? And were you guys able to create a survey? So over to you. You can share your findings and let me kind of jot it down over here. Uh, so we were trying to solve for this question, which brand is better in the Indian market, Maruti or Honda? Can you guys let me know what were your findings? What are the questions that you're going to ask in your survey? Any one of you can start.
Yes, Subrat, you can present. We have consolidated.
Okay, sure, sure. So, Subrat, over to you.
So, so we started with a nominal question to understand the profile of the customer. So we will ask the customer their gender, occupation, location,
Hmm.
and which car model they own, Honda or Maruti. And further, we will ask them if they would like to recommend this particular brand to others, or would they consider buying the same brand again.
Hmm.
Then we will ask few questions like how they rate the current condition of the car on a 0 to 9 scale, how they rate the user experience, the
Hmm.
driving experience of the car, how they rate the post sales customer experience.
Okay.
Then we will ask them about the overall experience with the particular car brand.
Hmm.
And we will also ask them how many years they have been using the car. And
Okay.
also, in addition to that, we will ask them their age, which of course will be the part of a
Hmm.
customer profiling. And
Okay.
finally, we will conclude by asking them if they have any additional comments or feedback about the particular car brand.
Okay, great. So I think this will be a open-ended question, and I think what you guys have done is you have used all the four different types of scales: nominal, ordinal, ratio. I think interval is the one which is missing, right? Okay. That anyways, ratio and interval both can be used for quantitative research. Now, did you find this exercise of creating a questionnaire straightforward, or there is some some level of skill which is required or expertise which is required in this case? What do you guys observed? Is it a straightforward, easy exercise to create a survey?
It was definitely not straightforward. There were
Hmm.
many possibilities which we found,
Okay.
and it was it was little tricky to
Hmm.
find the right set of questions.
Okay, great. So I think this is what is the key experience which generally happens. And you will find that many times, yeah, like Sachin mentioned, understanding the customer mind is also a consideration which comes up. So it was good to see that, first of all, you guys started off with qualifying the audience. So you asked about the gender, occupation, location, which is mostly the demographic information. Then it is good to see that you ask this question straightforward, whether either of the participants, are they owning a Honda or a Maruti or not? Because if people have not experienced either of the brands, then it will be difficult to judge. Now, best people will be those people who have had an experience of both the brands. They would be the best consideration set. So this question can be, which car model do you own? Honda, Maruti, and others. Uh, yes, question should be to achieve the objective of the survey, correct? So over here, we have to always think about, I mean, in asking questions, generally what happens is we might want to get huge amount of data. And for that, the questionnaire generally becomes or tends to become lengthy. So it is good to kind of stick to some very important and specific information. And uh, even if it's a small survey, in terms of the number of questions, it is fine. We don't need to have a very lengthy survey when the participation level drops. Uh, it is good to see this question. Would you consider buying the same brand again? This is actually a NPS question. And the other part is, have you recommended your car to brand to others? That is also a strong indicator of the NPS part. Of course, you have had more qualifying questions as well, which is in terms of which is the better brand and how do we define that, what is the meaning of a better brand. This actually should be defined from the market research perspective. And then I think open-ended question is something also which you guys have kept, which is the additional comments or feedbacks. Now, another part that will be important to look at is maybe people will respond to all these questions. And then during analysis also, that will be also tricky. Okay, so then how much weightage we should assign to which questions response. That also is a data analytics task, which is also a tricky one beyond creating the questionnaire itself. So overall, let me also show you, let's say, the previous batch's response. I think yours is looking more comprehensive, but this was the survey which was created by people in the last match. So they started off with, first of all, let's figure out if people own a car or not, which brand and model then they are owning. Uh, how do you like the after sales service rated? So they're looking at the service assessment. Apart from the product, they're asking a question, make and quality, after they know which brand they're using. Then service aspects, brand perception rating, like you guys also did on an NPS level. What is going to be their next car, which is where you guys have also asked a question. Apart from this price factor, so they're looking at assessing the best brand also from the perspective of price. And then they're trying to be looking at the representative sample of India. So some questions regarding the demography, like you guys had also asked. And then we'll try to answer the question of which is better. Now, this is where we were looking at, let's say, products which are from Maruti or Honda as a car. But this can be applicable as an exercise to any other industry as well. So generally, you will find that these exercises, when you create the market research, when you try to get into the analytics, there's a lot of subjectivity which also comes. There is a lot of bias which also might come in the process of creating the survey. So these are certain things that we try to cover up for while we look at capturing the product data. Now, I hope all of us got a hang of uh, what are the difficulties, what are the challenges, what are the things which are easier when we are looking at the product data. And particularly if we go back to our product, or let's say the customer journey, product and pricing analytics is very critical, because this is where actually the conversion is getting impacted. This is very close to the point of purchase. So obviously, if we remove the subjectivity during the data collection process, it will help us to optimize the decisions regarding product pricing, other decisions as well. And probably we'll be able to drive more, let's say, retention also, going beyond in the customer funnel. Now, let's also look at what are the factors influencing customer behavior. And these are the factors also through which we can assess whether the particular product is better, brand is better, and so on and so forth. So let's look at generally what people consider. Uh, First of all, there are economic factors. So let's say, for example, in India, we are a developing country. The kind of income level that people have would be different, let's say, to compared to Western world. And therefore, family income, personal income, these are and expectations around these income, they do influence the purchase decision. Then, of course, we have personal factors depending on our lifestyle, depending on the age, occupation we are into, uh, stage in our overall life cycle. So let's say whether we are married, you have more responsibilities, you have kids and all. These also are going to affect, of course, the purchase decision. Then, of course, we have psychological factors which vary from person to person. Some people are, ready to quickly adopt a new technology. Some other people might wait, see how things are emerging, and then probably go for taking risk for these new products. Some people are very much loyal to particular brands. We go and buy again and again from the same brands for certain product categories. We are not ready to experiment much. Whereas others will be very much prone to experiment. There are also cultural and social factors. For example, when it comes to food, you will find that Indians are very, very particular when it comes to food. Different people have their different choices. Different people also have even religion aspect comes into picture when we are kind of getting into decisions regarding purchasing food or related items. Same is the notion for also buying residential properties, commercial properties, and so on and so forth. So depending on the product, these cultural and social factors also do impact the purchase decision. And if a brand or as a product person, if I'm able to get clarity on these four different aspects, if I'm doing better as compared to my competitor, then probably we are doing a good job. And you will find that sometimes the surveys regarding products are centered around capturing all these four factors. Okay? Uh, if we also look at what is the most important thing in digital, particularly, let's say e-commerce, what are people looking at when they are actually purchasing things? Then this on the left-hand side is a chart to look at. So these days when people are buying online, product quality still remains top of the uh, parameter. Uh, People are wanting to buy product which should be of high quality. Then, of course, free shipping is a very good plus. So you will find that even on Zomato, when you have Zomato Gold, you have your delivery charges waived off. So that pushes a lot of people towards Gold. That's why they're kind of keeping that offering. Swiggy also has it, and so on and so forth. Then easy return, especially for e-commerce companies, this is a very important factor emerging among the top three factors: easy returns, and then of course customer reviews, visual search. Top five factors are these ones where the brand should definitely be able to make it better with respect to their competition. And then we can have more conversions taking place. There are others also like navigation, experience of the app, website, uh, payment terms, options, special sizes also these days, and the new products. This is something which drives e-commerce purchases. Overall, from industry to industry, these factors like personal, social, psychological, and situational, these are those factors which are actually not in control of the marketer. What we have in control is marketing mix. So we can decide about our product, price, how will we promote, where are the places where we will sell our product. This marketing mix factors is what we can work on while keeping in look at all the other factors which are not so controllable. And then we go out in the market, launch a product, learn about the customers, and make it better over a period of time. So from the analytics point of view, you can imagine the amount of data that people want to collect. Now, not everything can be collected. So, of course, we'll have to filter out and look at some key analytics, which we'll explore in the session going forward. So, how we go about capturing this product data, this is where we need to kind of look at some tools which are available. We'll do some live demos. And with that, we will be able to do it better. Okay. So, first of all, let's look at the capturing of the product data itself. Like we discussed earlier, we break it into three parts. So there is some data which can be collected during product development stage. Uh, then during trials or interactions before purchases. During the interaction also, there is a lot of data that can be collected, and we can try to understand will the conversion happen or not. And then, of course, we have after purchase the product feedback, which is an important area as well, which will help us to understand better uh, why people are making a particular decision, why they're not buying, what went well, what did not go well. Now, the process to capture this product data comes with various methods. So, for example, we can have focus group discussions. In FMCG sector, real estate as well, you will find a lot of group discussions are kept. Now, how these focus group discussions happen is we reach out to prospect customers or maybe existing customers. We ask them whether they will be able to participate in a group discussion. Then this is where we have either a company person or maybe an external expert uh, taking people all in a room where everyone has agreed that they're looking forward to this group discussion about the product part, and maybe we are trying to launch a new product. This person who's the expert will anchor the discussion, and maybe the marketing team is sitting in the next room from where they're able to kind of look at how the discussion is going, listen to maybe cameras are placed and so on and so forth. So we are trying to listen to what people are talking about. This can help us for data which can be related to product development. Before launching a new product, a lot of data gets collected about through focus group discussions during the product development part. Also, a lot of feedback comes in from these group discussions. So this is an important data point which companies do collect, especially in the B2C market. Surveys like you guys created is another way. Through this, we can research, we can talk about product trial, we can also think about product feedback. Then usability testing, this is where we have created a sample. And let's say these days you would have found that if you're getting into, in malls, you will have some people standing with products for trials. You can taste it, let's say, especially food products. Uh, you'll find it in malls these days, a lot of trials go. So that is nothing but the usability testing. Okay. Similarly, if you go to furniture stores, you can have augmented reality apps. You can use them and test how this furniture will look like in a particular setup and so on and so forth. So that is all usability testing. Then for interactions, we have tools like Google Analytics. So when people come to your website, when they go to specific pages, explore your mobile app, this is where we can capture interaction data. So Google Analytics demo, anyways, we will see it today. Session replay through tools which are Flurry for mobile. Apps Flyer is also there for mobile apps. For website also in Google Analytics, you can do a session replay. So in session replay, what happens is you will select a user or a set of users, and you will see how they are moving from one page to another page, from one aspect of the customer journey to the other part of the customer journey on your website, mobile app, how they are going about the purchase. So that is called as session replay. And social media or social listening from the social media has also become an important aspect these days, through which we try to study the feedback of customers. So it's more about the sentiment. Are we having a positive sentiment, or are people actually talking about negative things? Then we try to filter them and see what can be important for product data capture. Okay. Now, like you guys created a survey, here is another example. So let's say we can have a very simple product customer feedback form. We can ask a question which is like a NPS question. Would you recommend us to your friends and colleagues? Yes or no? We can have an open-ended one and then a rating. Okay. This is the same way that you guys were kind of doing it. Or we can have a very visually appealing way on the right-hand side of creating a survey on a CSAT level and then collecting data through that. Apart from this, we have, of course, from the social listening perspective, there are a lot of tools available. So one tool which is very popular for social media management, and it is being used in India, is Hootsuite. So you guys should be kind of aware about Hootsuite as a tool. It is used for managing social media platforms and for monitoring social media analytics. Okay, so let's say you are working for a company like let's say Maruti itself. Now, Maruti wants to be present on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and they are doing some activities over there, posting something, images, videos, and so on and so forth, doing product launches. So what you want to do is, from one platform, you want to monitor everything that is going on social media for Maruti. In this case, you bring in a tool called as Hootsuite, which is for social media management, and looking at analytics. What are people talking? How many impressions are happening? Are people clicking? Are they watching your content? Are they commenting, sharing, and so on and so forth? A competitor of Hootsuite is Sprout Social. If you're working in Europe particularly, you will find that the same job that we do using Hootsuite, we have Sprout Social being used in the Europe market. If you're working in on behalf of a US company in India, or you're working in the US market itself, then you will have another tool which is called a Sprinkler. So I've typed the names of these tools in the chat. These three tools are kind of doing the same objective, which is social media management and analytics. Maybe if you can learn Hootsuite in your industry side, it is good to go for the Indian market. Otherwise, either of them, in fact, Sprout Social and Sprinkler, you'll find in the telecom industry, people are using Sprinkler in India. So whenever your customer base is huge, then you use Sprinkler, especially if you want to work on big data. Typical, let's say, kind of metrics charts that you can see in these tools is what you can see on the right-hand side. So let's say we are measuring share of voice for coffee cabin brand against maybe their competitors, Java House, Impresso, Espresso. And we are looking at whether there is a lot of voice or a lot of people mentioning about coffee cabin on social media or a particular platform, or about Java House and Impresso, Espresso. Okay, so this is where we are trying to understand what are people talking about on social media with respect to these three products or brands? How's the total engagement going? What is the average engagement per post on the social media? So engagement means, are people clicking, liking, commenting, sharing on your post or not? If people are engaging a lot, then it means you're doing a good content marketing on social media. Maybe you will be able to drive conversions also. How's the sentiment? What is the total number of writing about you or visiting your website? How are the views happening? So these kind of typical metrics is what we get from social listening tools. Uh, what we will be kind of particularly looking at from our session perspective is Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is mostly used for capturing product related data from website. Okay, you can also do it for monitoring mobile app, but generally for mobile apps these days, we have these two tools which I'm mentioning in the chat, Flurry and Apps Flyer. These are being used for mobile app analytics. For web analytics, Google Analytics is the best tool, free of cost. And over here, you can get to understand who are the people who are visiting your website. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from search engines? Are they coming from social media? Uh, any particular city, location? What are they doing on your website? Are they visiting multiple pages? And so on and so forth. Are they converting? Are they making a purchase? These are all the things that you can get to know about in Google Analytics. Okay. So what we will do over here is we will take a demo of Google Analytics. Uh, I'll kind of set it up. We'll take a break for 10 minutes over here, and then we catch up. By the time I think we should be good to go. We'll catch back at 11:50. I think it's 11:42. So 11:50 is where we catch up. Then we go through the live demo of Google Analytics. Before that, just wanted to check with you. How many of you have used Google Analytics or have you seen it? Have you used Google Analytics or have you seen it? Accordingly, I'll spend time on the demo. So have you got have you used it earlier? Okay, so Bharat is saying never used it. Okay, all right. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go through the demo part slowly and try to. Okay, Sachin is also saying heard about it. Okay, so we'll see it live. It will give you a lot of confidence and you will enjoy, seeing how the web analytics is done. Okay, so let me set it up. We catch back in 10 minutes and then we take it forward from here. All right, everyone. Are we back? Shall we get started off with this demo? Okay, great. So what you see on the screen is basically, the dashboard for Google Analytics. Now let me explain you some very simple aspects, and then I think you will find it very easy to pick up. So first of all, you can see on the left-hand side on the top, there is this logo of Google Analytics. Okay. Let me see if I can point out. Okay, I think it should be. You can see all accounts being written over here. Okay, so there is an arrow. If I click on this all accounts, basically what happens in Google Analytics, you can create your account. Okay? Account is nothing but using your Gmail ID and a password. You will log in and you will create multiple accounts. Like here, I've named one as Headway Insights, another one as Indian Nomads. Under these accounts, we create properties. These properties are nothing but websites. Okay? So for example, I have this website, FinTalks, which is my own website, for which we are looking at the data. Okay? So how many people are visiting on the website? That is the first data point, users. Okay. Now these users are coming over last 90 days. You can see at the bottom, there is a selection which is last 90 days. So in the last 3 months, how many people have visited the website? Okay. Now, which is this website? So over here, let me open the website. This is the website I'm talking about. So we have created this website using WordPress. And you can see over here, there are some blogs, there is some content which is there. People can also go to various sections, like they can go to the stock market workshop page. They can register for the workshop. And similarly, there is this mutual fund workshop. They can explore this one. They can contact us. So we have given them a contact form. They can read blogs also. So let's say they can go to this blog and they can read these blogs. That is how a very simple basic website has been created. And these are the functionalities that you can find on the website. Okay. Now, I think you guys would have understood how the website is there. This website is basically as a property getting monitored in this particular Google Analytics account. Now, what we will start off with is looking at the right-hand side. Okay. Look at this right-hand side. There is a real-time report is what we call it. Users who have visited in the last 30 minutes. So there are two people. One is me itself. I've just opened the website. So in real time, Google Analytics is able to kind of suggest or capture how many people are visiting the website. So for this, let me kind of also ask you guys, try to visit this website now, okay? And let's see how much time Google is taking to report. Okay, Sachin is also there on the website. Okay, so we have Sachin already there. Sachin, you can try to go to different pages on the website. Okay, so let's see that also getting reported. You will see that there is view real-time option. I can go to this real-time report and try and see what more is happening on the website. Okay, so let's wait for others, Subrat and Subramania, to come to the website. And then let's see if Google Analytics is able to detect your devices. Okay, there is one person already detected. So we have 3 people now. Now, what I'll do is I'll click on this real-time report. Okay, so I'll click on this real-time and let's see what further is getting reported. Okay, so we have 3 people. Maybe there is one person from Bangalore. There are 2 people from Mumbai. Okay, so yeah, Subramania is also there. Okay, so we have 3 people now. And see, in real time, we are able to see uh, not only about how many users are there, where are they coming from, and where are they on the pages. Okay, so they're generally, I think you guys are there on the home page itself. And over here, yeah, so some person has also visited stock market page. Uh, and most of the people came directly. Direct means you have typed fintalks.com and then you have landed on this particular part. Okay. Uh, now over here, now we have all the four of us. So we have 4 people now. There are 2 users. Okay, there is one person from Bhubaneswar or near location as well. So see, the best thing is in real time, if you're getting this information about where are the users coming from, what are they doing on your website, do you think this is useful information for marketing? Would you consider this information somewhere in your campaigns? Yes, right. So for example, if you are working for a company like Policy Bazaar, okay. Now Policy Bazaar is selling insurance, right? Now you will find that generally when you go to their website, you will quickly get a call if you're on one of the product pages. And how they're doing it? They're doing it by monitoring these data points through tools like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, or many other tools are there. Okay. Now Google Analytics is free of cost, so then also it becomes very important. Now, if I have to run my ads, email marketing campaign, SMS marketing campaign, probably I want to drive it at these three locations because people are already there coming to my website. Okay. Now, similarly, think of a global context, a global business, and you're getting to see people are coming from which country, how much traffic is there from which country, which location. That comes as a part of real-time report. Now, how is this happening? So what happens is, uh, what you need to know about any website is that there is a programming language which is behind any website, which is HTML, which I think all of us know about, hypertext markup language. Now, we don't need to learn programming, but what you need to know is, as a marketing analytics person, whenever you create a website, it has two parts of the code, head part and the body part. So just like human beings have head and the body, websites also have head and the body part. And let's explore this over here for this website. So I do a right click and I go to view page source. So I click on view page source. Now this is a HTML code. This is HTML document. And over here, let's look at the head part of the code. This head part is generally a small part of the code. And maybe over here, I'll just type body. This is where the body part of the code is starting. Okay. So above that, it's all the head section. So let me type head. And this is where the head part of the code is ending. Okay. So this is how long the blue highlight is the one, which is the head section of the website code. Now, this head section is something which is used for analytics. It is used for communicating to browsers, search engines, and so on and so forth. So most of the search engine optimization, marketing analytics is where we use the head part of the code. For example, you will find at the top of this code, there is this small script, we call it cookie. Okay. I'm sure that when you visit website, you would have seen that people ask you to accept cookies. Cookie is nothing but a tracking code, just like this one highlighted in blue. This blue tracking code is the tracking code from Google Analytics. So we have copy pasted that under the head section. That means we will be able to monitor this website under Google Analytics. All the data will get reported to Google, and that is how the data over here is appearing. Okay. So this is the process through which it's not a very complicated one. It's a very simple thing. You just need to be aware that whichever tool you want to use for monitoring your website, that tool's tracking code or cookie you have to paste in the head section of your code. Okay, that's it. We are done. Generally, you will find that within 15-30 minutes, all the tools get active. Google might get active in 5 minutes itself. It'll start reporting the data. Okay. Now, what else gets reported? We have seen the real-time report. Let's go to the home page and let's see it more. Okay. Now over here, we saw that on the right-hand side, it's about the real time. But if I want to look at historical data, okay, so let's say this chart, we want to see it for last 12 months. Then look at 4 data points importantly. How many users have visited? Okay. How many of them were new users? Actually, it was their first visit to the website. So yeah, we have most people visiting for the first time. How much time they spent on your website. So roughly 2 minutes on an average. And bounce rate means, let's say people come to a particular page and close the website from that page itself. Okay, so let's say if I go to fintalks.com on the home page and I close the website from this page itself, then it is called as a bounce. And ideally, you want people to not to bounce. You want people to scroll on the page, then click somewhere, go to the other page, and maybe explore a lot of pages, spend a lot of time, and then close the website. Okay. So if people fall off from the page where they have landed, we call it bounce. And you want bounce rate to be as low as possible. When you create a new website, you will find that the bounce rate will be 90% or even more. Over a period of time, bounce rate starts lowering down. If the bounce rate is below 50% or close to 50%, you're doing a fantastic job. Okay? The best bounce rate in the world is there for Google, google.com, which is where they have a bounce rate of around 27%. Okay. Now, over here, let's look at what else is getting reported. So, apart from these users, which is the traffic, how much time they are spending, are they bouncing off from the page where they landed? We have reports on the left-hand side. So let's look at these reports. Now you will find what happens in case of Google Analytics is we have reports which are aligned to the customer journey. Okay, so there are three reports. How are we acquiring customers? Okay, acquisition. Are people engaging with our website? Okay, so are they clicking, going to the other pages? Are they maybe clicking, downloading something from your website, watching a video? That is engagement. And are people paying money? Are they making purchases? Is the monetization happening? That is the fourth report, the third report. If you include real time, then it's the fourth report. And that is all we are getting to understand in Google Analytics. So the structure is very simple. How are we acquiring customers? What are they doing on the website? Are we able to monetize or not? Okay. So let's look at this acquisition report first. We will look at overview and we will select a time period. Okay. So let's say by default, it is last 28 days. Let's say we make it to last 90 days. Okay. In the last 90 days, let's see what has happened. So 294 people have come, 287 for them. We were new users. They came for the website for the first time. And over here, this is a trend which is being shown. On the right-hand side, you are also getting to see real time, how many people have just now come. So 4 people, all of us. Then how are people coming to your website? Okay, so direct means people are typing the URL completely, fintalks.com. Organic search means people are going to the search engine. Let's say they're searching for a keyword like Fintalks. Then they found Fintalks website in the Google search engine, clicked over here, and then came to my website. This is organic traffic, organic search traffic, free of cost search traffic, which is 114. Organic social means people went to social media, they saw some post, clicked on it, and then came to the website. Referral means they're coming to the website from other websites, okay, which are not social media. So that is how the traffic is coming to this website. Now, this can help us to understand that, there is no email marketing happening. There is no SMS marketing happening. These are the various channels through which people are arriving on our channel, okay, or our website. Now, apart from this, you can deep dive. You can actually click on view user acquisition. And you can have a deep dive also. Okay, so you can look at for each of the traffic, direct, organic, social, and search, referral, how is the engagement rate happening? Okay, so let's say instead of, we can sort it out from highest to lowest. On an average, it is 43%. And now you can see that over here, what has happened is people who are coming from organic search, they are having the highest engagement rate. Now, the question is, why do you guys think engagement rate is high for people coming from search engine? Why is the engagement rate higher for these people? It is lower for social, lesser for direct, and least for referral. Okay, so people who came from other website, actually just one person came, but the engagement rate was 0. The person opened the website and just left. No engagement. Okay. Okay. Subramaniam is saying they're finding something. Okay. Which is correct. Subrat has also elaborated on it because they consciously chose to visit the website rather than being driven, right? So there is a lot of pull marketing in case of organic search. People are searching something and this is where they found the website, they found it relevant and they started exploring. So organic search is looking like the best channel in terms of engagement over here. Now, apart from this, we could have also looked at conversions. Okay, so we can create, let's say, a form, how many people converted out of them. Uh, Along with the engagement, if people are converting, then that is the best channel. So that is how by combining various matrices, we can get to understand what is working, what is not working. Similarly for organic, social, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, this is, let's say, the report, which is about acquisition. Now, let's go to another part, which is engagement. And let's look at the overview. Now, on my website, what has happened is we have not driven any conversions from the website. Generally, we kind of, or at maximum, what we try to drive is the registration. We're not selling anything from the website. But let's look at some engagement parameters. So average engagement time is like 32 seconds. And this is over the last 90 days. That means it's very small. People are not spending much time. I'm sure that no one is reading the blog in the last 90 days because it's 32 seconds. Otherwise, people will take at least 1 minute, 2 minutes if they're reading something. So that means we need to work on our content engagement. Uh, uh, you can also see, let's say, average engagement time per session. Session means when people visit a website, they can do once, twice, more than 2 times. Every time they come to the website, we call it as a session. Now, over here, let's also look at views. Okay, so this is how many page views are happening. 557 views have happened. We can define events also. Now, events are like a page view, session start, user engagement, first visit, and so on and so forth. We call them as views. Basically, from this, you can see that this is what we had discussed: daily active user, weekly active user, and monthly active user. Okay, so we are kind of getting it reported. User stickiness, which is not that great. Daily active users is, uh, kind of falling now. Weekly active user as well is on a falling trend. Ideally, if these three were increasing, then we will say that we would have a high user stickiness. Okay, so we can work on user stickiness over here. We can also kind of look at landing pages report. Where are people landing? Okay, so let's look at this piece as well. Uh, so over here on our particular website, homepage slash actually means homepage. So homepage is where most of the traffic is coming. Okay, and people are spending 26 seconds and leaving. When they come to this blog, look at this one, top 5 Indian industries by operating margin. This is where you can see 1 minute, 25 seconds. So actually people are spending time along with another blog, which is where why Marwadis are successful with money. This is also where people spend a decent amount of time. Okay, so you can also get to see where are people landing on your website, what are they doing. That question gets answered when we look at the engagement report. Now, with that, we will move to monetization. So in my website, there is no monetization happening. So what I'll do is I'll show to you the broad perspective. So here it gets reported. You can actually tag or get to understand how much total money you are making over a time period for a website. On an average, how much is the advertising revenue? How are your ads performing? Those are the things that you can expect from here. Now, I'll come back to this monetization report, but let me also show you another part, which is learning about the users. Okay, so there is user attributes, which we can also try to learn about, which is the demographic information. So about the people who are visiting the website, we can get to see from which countries people are visiting. Okay, so users by country. We can also get to see location. Okay, so how many people are coming from a specific country, city itself. So let's say Mumbai is giving us the highest traffic. Now we can have users also by gender and interest. Now this is what is not set up in my website as of now. So that is why you see that, the data is not coming, but I'll show you uh, another, you can also get to know the age of the people, by the way. I'll show you another account, which is where probably I'll be able to show it to you. Uh, so over here, uh, let me take you back to uh, so we have Google Merchandise Store, which we can kind of look at. Let me see if I can show you that property. So we go to, I think I'll have to set it up. Let me try once. If it happens, I think it will be good to see. Let me do one thing. Let's go to Google Merchandise Store. So basically, there is a demo account which Google has provided for those people who want to learn about Google Analytics. You can actually go to this demo account and expect and kind of check about it. Okay, so let's see if I'm able to show it to you over here. Uh, think I'll have to set it up. Maybe I'll show it to you in the future classes. Here, maybe I'll try to re-log in from my another account. There, actually, I wanted to show you one piece which is about uh, Google Merchandise Store monetization report. That will be good to see in that in real life how people are able to monitor how much money they are making, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's see if this works. Otherwise, I'll show it to you in the coming session. Okay, I think it is working. Yeah, so let me show it to you this one. This is where you will get all the data getting populated. So there is something called as Google Merchandise Store, which is this website. Google has created an e-commerce website for people to learn about Google Analytics. And actually, these are real numbers that you will find. So this is a store that we are talking about. You can see there are various product categories. People can go to a particular product category and start shopping. Okay, so let's say we go to a particular product. Say click on shop now. And we can add this to cart, add this to wish list, just like we do it in e-commerce smart. And you can look at the product description, there is images, and then we can take it forward. Okay, so this is where it is being monitored in this Google Analytics account. So for this website, you can see on the right hand side what we studied in real time. What is happening? People are coming from US mostly, then India, Australia, Egypt. How many people are visiting in the last 7 days? We can go to the report section over here, and under reports, then we can go to user attributes. So let me show you this part first. So what are the types of people which are visiting? Okay, so let's load up the data now. So mostly people from US and Canada. Interesting is India as well. People are going to Google Merchandise Store. Let's look at the location. So Toronto and New York mostly. Now look at this right hand side. You have the gender data. Okay, so mostly males are visiting. Then you also have age wise. So millennials are visiting a lot, 25 to 34 and 18 to 24. So 18 to 34 is the target audience which is visiting mostly. And then people are mostly kind of there with the English language itself, which is fine. So this is user attributes. Let's look at the monetization as well. So this monetization is what Google is making this money in through this merchandise store. So they're making in the last 28 days, $74,000 have been earned from here. This is the purchase revenue. And you can see the trend. Okay, 620 people have purchased, 545 4 have actually made their first purchase. On an average, purchase revenue per user is $1.53. What are they purchasing? Google Pen White, Google Sticker, Cloud Sticker, and so on and so forth. So you can also see what people are buying. And this is quite critical information. Correct. So this account actually you guys can also use. It's a demo account. So if you get time, go through this, explore the various facets of Google Analytics. Otherwise, what I've explained to you is good enough. You have as a summary, the real-time report, acquisition, engagement, and monetization. Okay. There's a good question from Subrat. Can we connect any website to Google Analytics? So no. So what happens is, Subrat, you can only monitor those websites which you own or where you can prove the ownership that you are the owner of this website. Okay. So in my case, let's say when I purchase the domain, I get a domain registration info that I have to share with Google in the account creation process. Once that is verified, Google sends you a code. Okay, uh, it comes to you by post. You put that code, and after that, the Google Analytics processing starts. Okay, the monitoring can be therefore only be for those websites which you are owning. Okay. If you want to, yeah, yes, you need to own the domain. And over here, there is another tool called as Similar Web. So just in case, if you want to look at, uh, you know, any website and you want to study their traffic, then we have a tool called as similarweb.com, which is a free of cost tool. And actually, this tool got banned in India last month. Okay, this is a website. Similarweb.com is a website or a tool developed by Israel. And what happened was, because of this Israel and Hamas war, a lot of Israel websites and servers have been banned. So that is why this stopped functioning. Otherwise, you can use SimilarWeb to go to any website. You can download their Chrome extension. So SimilarWeb is a very popular tool. You can use this SimilarWeb and check the website traffic for any website. Okay, you can check it for Infosys, compare it with TCS, compare it with Wipro, and so on and so forth. So a lot of marketers used to use this Chrome extension. Now I think, yeah, you can see, oh, this is not opening. So uh, this is a blog page. So this got blocked as per the government's direction. Otherwise, it used to be quite a good website or a Chrome extension to monitor other websites that you don't own. Okay. All right. So that is all that we have from the perspective of Google Analytics. Any other question or query? Are we good to go with understanding Google Analytics? Okay, great. So over here, let's move to the next part then. Uh, Now, what happens apart from Google Analytics is there are also certain concepts with respect to defining KPIs. So there is a framework from Google itself, which is about uh, capturing data in a structured way, particularly using digital channels. This data that we capture is using HEART framework. So this HEART framework is developed by Google. So what they tell is that, when you capture product data through your website or mobile app, you can refer to this HEART framework, which is nothing but H stands for happiness, E for engagement, A for adoption, R for retention, and T for successful task. So using this HEART framework, what we do is we define certain goals that we want to measure. So for example, user satisfaction, user interaction with our content, discovery of the content, usage of the product and platform, making users return to the platform. Are people coming back again and again? And are they able to take actions? So for this, each goal, we define certain signals that, when people write a review, we are able to understand about satisfaction. Similarly, when people spend time on the platform, then it is talking about engagement. When people do a sign up, convert, then adoption is happening. When people are churning out, that means retention is not happening. If they're able to make a purchase, then a defined task has been completed. And against each of these signals, we map certain KPIs. Okay, so these are called as product KPIs. Some of them also might overlap with the KPIs that we saw for customer behavior. For example, NPS and CSAT. Engagement can be looked at using session duration, bounce rate, and so on and so forth. We can look at adoption by looking at the conversion rates. We can look at retention by repeat visitors, uh, or let's say if people are renewing their subscriptions, those kind of matrices. And task success is time taken to convert, time taken to complete a purchase, number of purchases happening, and so on and so forth. So this is a way we can go about establishing any product related KPI effort. And on this note, one of the important metric that everyone wants to monitor when it comes to product KPIs is conversion rate. Okay? Now conversion rate is nothing but number of conversions divided by the number of visitors. Okay? So let's say if you look at a website, how many people in a particular month visited, and out of which how many conversions or purchases happened. That itself can be defined as a conversion rate. what will be defined as a conversion is a prerogative of a marketer. Okay, so for example, people registering on my website can be defined as conversion one. People, let's say, subscribing to my newsletter, conversion two. People purchasing something, conversion three, and we can monitor all these conversion rates. Another way to look at it is going a journey. So people go through the phases like the IDA model: awareness, interest, decision, and action. And we can look at conversions at each stage. How many people who are aware are visiting our website? They are getting interested. How many people who are interested visiting our website are actually adding products to cart? They are taking decision. How many people are moving from cart to actually paying? So we can define conversion rate as an overall number or at each stage, and then try to monitor, make it better at each stage and the overall part. That is the notion of conversion rate. Very simple part. Here is an example in the mobile app marketing world. So what we try to do is we look at how many people are viewing our app. That becomes our impression. After viewing, are they clicking and exploring the app? Actually going to App Store and downloading the app? Having a successful install process done, they have submitted their information. Now they're ready to use the app. After using the app, have they actually converted? And for each stage, we can define a particular conversion rate. We can give it a particular name. For example, CTR stands for click-through rate, click to App Store rate, App Store to download rate, click to install, and finally conversion. Or we can have overall impression to conversion rate, which can be used to compare between companies and industries. So very intuitive process. Now this is coming from Apps Flyer as a tool. Which tool is used to prepare slides? In the sense, this slide, so I've not used any tool as such. No, actually I've not used any tool, but I have taken some are images which I extracted. There are certain websites which I think, okay, I got your question. So if you type this presentation slide templates, then you get a lot of, okay, you will get these slides go, Canva slides model. So actually I've not referred to just one tool. It will be a mix of multiple. Okay, so sometimes you will find product presentation slides. So over a period of time, I have just captured from various slides, kept them, kept building them on, and that is how these slides have been created. Okay, this picto chart also is a good one. From here also you will get some good slides. Otherwise, slides go is where you can download free templates, pre-built, and some slides you can use. Okay, so for example, you can see these ones, right? Product roadmap, product positioning. So you can extract from here. Smart art is also there inside PPT. So let's say if you go to this, let's say this is smart art part. Inside smart art, you will find this section. Okay, so you can actually use a lot of uh, options from here and then customize it with respect to colors and everything. Okay. So that way is also it works, right? Got it? Now, coming back to the conversion rate part, this is an example. So let's say visitors to a product page, product added to cart, and order is completed. So we can define how many people visited. Maybe out of that, 50% people actually added product to cart and 30% conversion happened. If 30% is happening, actually, it's a very huge number. Generally, the conversion rate on a e-commerce website will be less than 5%. That is how 100 people come, less than 5 people actually make a purchase. This conversion rate, you will also find gets defined from industry to industry. For example, in e-commerce, fintech and payment companies, they call transaction for the conversion. In media or content companies, you will hear the term subscription. Social media companies look at sign up and registration. stores and offline businesses will look at ultimate sale or purchase. Okay? So it is up to the marketer to define the conversion as a definition and then looking at the conversion rate. Okay. Now, from here on, I think we will move on to the other few aspects which are beyond the product purchase. And during the product purchase, we have the concept of customer engagement and loyalty. What we will do is over here, let's take a 5-minute break and then we gather back and look at these concepts. I think we've gone through a lot of things on the Google Analytics side and the product KPIs. So let's take a break and let's catch back. Then we take it forward to these last few topics. Okay. So let's catch back in 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes should be sufficient. All right, everyone. I hope we're back. We get started off with the last part for our session today. So we'll discuss about the concept of customer engagement and loyalty, which also kind of falls around that conversion as well as post-conversion exercise. So there are two terms. Customer engagement, first of all, is the emotional connection that gets established between the brand and the customer while people are in the journey of buying the product. Okay. Now, what happens if people are engaged? That means they're visiting our website, going to our app, going to our store, reaching out to the brand again and again. And there is a higher chance that these people will convert, they will buy more, promote more, and demonstrate even more loyalty. Now, loyalty over here is basically a result of continuous customer engagement, especially if things are going positive. Then over a period of time, if people are happy with the product as well as the service, then they will come back, buy more products, maybe refer others. This stronger customer loyalty is what we are trying to aim for. This will help us to grow the company sustainably. If people leave us, we call it churn. And of course, we've discussed in the session today what can be the impact of churn. So we have to minimize churn, drive customer loyalty because that will help us to drive profitability. Now, this is where let's look at how then customer engagement and loyalty is getting measured. With the help of this video, we will take a look at in the gaming industry how people are measuring engagement. Okay, so it's a good video, and in very simple terms, they have defined how the mobile engagement is getting measured. Let's see this on YouTube. I'll kind of take you back.
So how can we tell if a game is actually engaging? Well, we can usually look at how popular the game is by finding out if the game is downloaded a lot and if the reviews are good. For example, here we can see game apps in the Amazon App Store. And we can see the number of reviews and the star rating from 1 to 5 stars. And this gives us a good idea of how engaging our game is. If the game has a rating close to 5 stars, it's probably pretty fun. And if it's lower, then maybe there's something the users don't like about it. We can also look at how long and how often players use our game and measure engagement. Here are some terms we use to measure it: session count, session length, and retention. Session count is the number of times an app is launched. So anytime a player opens the app, whether that's once a week or 10 times a day, the session count goes up. And if we look at the average session counts for a player over a day, we can get a pretty good idea of how addicting our game is. But some games are designed for longer sessions instead of multiple short sessions, so the session length is also important. Session length is the amount of time that the app is in use for a particular session. So whether that's a few minutes or going on and on to lengths of hours. And again, for this to be a useful metric, we would usually look at the average session length across users to see how long a typical user plays once they open the app. And we also look at retention, which is a measure of how many users continue to play your game as time goes on. Usually, game retention is measured a day after your game is first launched and downloaded, a week after, and a month after, just to see how many of your original players you keep over time. Say you want to measure retention over a week for the game Fruit Ninja. That means you want to see how many people who started at the beginning of the week are still around at the end of the week. During the week, some of these early users will leave Fruit Ninja and new ones will join, but we don't want to take into account the new ones. We just want to see who started at the beginning of the week and stayed throughout the whole week. To calculate this, you need to look at the users at the end of the week minus any of the newcomers who joined in the middle of the week, all divided by the number of users that started at the beginning of the week. Then multiply all this by 100 to get a percentage, and this is going to be your retention for the week. So let's look at some numbers for Fruit Ninja. Let's say we had 400 people download the game at the start of the week, and there's 700 total by the end of the week. That looks pretty good. But we also know that 500 of these people are new. They joined in the middle of the week, and they aren't part of our 400 original starting players. So let's calculate the retention. First, we have 700 from the end of the week, minus the 500 new players that joined midweek, so we're only accounting for our original 400 to see who stuck around, all divided by our 400 original players, then times 100 to get a percentage. This is going to be 200 over 400, or half, times 100%, which is going to give us 50% retention over this week, which is pretty good. Ideally, we'd want 100% retention, which means everyone who downloads your game keeps playing it and never quits. But no game has perfect retention, and even really great games have around 50% retention after just the first day. That means that half the players leave during the first 24 hours of playing. This seems like a lot of people leaving, but it's considered pretty good retention, especially if your game is good at getting new players over time. It won't matter that a lot of older ones leave. Lots of developers use a 40-20-10 rule as a guideline for good retention over a day, a week, and a month. So after a game is downloaded by a bunch of people, we have 100% of people, 40% of those users stick around after the first day. 20% of those stay for a week, and only 10% stay for a whole month, and even longer usually. If you have retention at these time points, a day, a week, or a month, that's higher, that's great. If it's any lower, that's considered bad retention.
All right. So very simple, straightforward way of looking at engagement, and you will find that across industries, we can measure engagement, particularly using very simple matrices. I'll also kind of show you some matrices which are there from Amazon. So as a case study, if you look at Amazon, how they are measuring whether people are engaging, what is the engagement rate, and so on and so forth. So to look at these metrics, guest checkout rate. So let's say when you go to Amazon and if you're shopping or purchasing something, then how many people are actually creating an account, logging into that account, and then making the purchase? Apart from that, how many people are just completing a purchase without making an account? So that is what Amazon monitors. And if people are actually creating an account, that it signals that people are more engaged and they will come back again and again. So this is metric one. Metric two is purchase frequency. Okay, so how often your customers make a purchase at your store. This is also being measured. If people are ordering multiple times, then of course it signals that they have more engagement with Amazon. So number of orders in the last year divided by the number of unique customers who have purchased will give us the purchase frequency on a customer level. Higher the number, better it is. They also look at the average order value, and this you can compare it with even the customer lifetime value. If average order value is increasing, that means people are more engaged with Amazon, because then people are spending more and more only when they're getting value. So generally the repeat customers, they tend to spend 7 times more as compared to their counterparts. This is what Amazon has observed. And the last metric over here is repeat purchase rate, which is number of customers, let's say out of a base, who are purchasing more than once. Okay, so this is particularly important for them to look at what percentage and what is the trend for that percentage who are buying more than once from Amazon over a time period. This also signals to them about the retention activity or the engagement activity. You can also, combine these matrices together. For example, we can look at average order value and engagement together to understand which customer segment is very, very important. We can compare average order value and conversion rate. So more the conversion rate, we can kind of look at from the perspective of overall lifetime value. So this average order value, lifetime value, and customer acquisition cost can all be looked together. By combining the product and price metrics, we can have a very good picture and understanding of engagement. Okay. Now, another part would be that we would want to kind of conduct certain tests around the product and the pricing part, and we would want to leverage data for understanding about the experience. So this is where let's have a case study, which first you will kind of try to go through and understand what is happening. So let's say when you advertise, how is the advertising experience and is a particular marketing team doing a better job? This is where this case study is based. I'm sure that all of you are aware about these two brands, Canon and Nikon. They're selling cameras, and what we have to figure out is when they're selling the cameras through Facebook advertising, which marketing team is doing a better job? This is what you guys have to guess. Okay, so let me kind of take you through this case study. There is on the left-hand side Canon's ad. You can see there is a picture of the product, and they're saying shop now. Okay. On the right-hand side, you have the Nikon ad for a product, and they are saying sign up. There is an offer going on. You can sign up for that. Now, both the teams are running their ads. Let me show you some numbers. Let's say the first team, Nikon team, in a month, they are spending 1 lakh rupees. They're getting 10 lakh views. Okay. So 10 lakh people, 10 lakh views are happening for them. Out of these 10 lakh views of the ad, 2,000 people have clicked on the shop now, and 20 people have actually completed the purchase. They have converted. The cost of the camera is 50,000. Okay, so this is the selling price of the camera. So over here, 50,000, at 50,000, 20 cameras were sold by Canon. In the same month, Nikon also ran its campaign. They spent 1 lakh rupees just like Canon. They got 5 lakh views. Out of these 5 lakh views, 2,000 people again clicked. 2,000 out of these 2,000 people, actually 40 people converted, and the selling price of the camera was 20,000 rupees. Okay, so now what you guys have to do is look at these numbers and tell me, according to you, which marketing team is doing a better job? Is it Canon or is it Nikon? Let's see what you guys are suggesting, and then let's discuss further on this. Okay, so you're looking at the data and you're trying to understand over here from the marketing effort, which team is doing a better job. Okay, so over to you guys. Look at the numbers and tell me, according to you, is Canon doing a better digital marketing effort or Nikon doing a better digital marketing effort? You can type your responses in the chat, and don't worry about being right or wrong. It is a discussion, and we'll explore it further from what you guys think. Okay. Okay, anyone suggesting any observations? So you have 1 lakh rupees being spent by both the teams. Number of views is impressions. So 10 lakh and 5 lakh in case of Canon and Nikon. 2,000 people clicking on the ad. In case of Canon, we had 20 conversions. 20 people bought at 50,000 rupees. And in case of Nikon, 40 people bought at 20,000 rupees. Okay. Subrat is saying Canon is doing a better job, is getting more impressions, but their conversion is low. Okay. So over here, what Subrat has observed is Canon is able to reach out to more people, but the problem is their conversion is low. Okay. So that is where the dilemma is for Canon. Nikon is getting less impressions, but their conversion is high. Okay. So good observation. Now, then how should we conclude? So Subrat, what will be your conclusion then? Is Canon better or Nikon better? And others also can contribute. So it's a good observation. A/B testing, no, not as such. We can, of course, do A/B testing to get better with the campaigns. But over here, if you have to pick one, which one do you think is better off? Okay, Sachin is saying probably Nikon is doing a better job, and might be because they are having a better conversion. Okay, so let's think it from the business perspective. See, as a businessman, what you will look at is how much money I'm investing and how much I'm getting back. So in case of Canon, you gave the team 1 lakh rupees. They came back to you with 20 multiplied by 50,000, which is 10 lakh rupees. Okay, so in 1 lakh, you got a return of 10 lakh. In Nikon, you spend 1 lakh and you got 8 lakhs back. Okay. So on a business per se, if you just go by the business parameters, then of course, Canon's marketing team is doing a better job. However, in both the cases, there are certain improvement areas. Okay. So for example, like Subrat was mentioning, Canon is getting huge number of impressions, but they have to improve on their conversions. Nikon is getting much higher, in fact, double the conversions. Now, what is helping Nikon? Probably if we go back and look at the ads, see Nikon, probably this, do you think this discount will be helping Nikon for driving more conversions? Would it be contributing? Yes, right? So that means the copy of the ad is where Nikon is probably doing a better job. They're able to probably play with the target audience better. This discount is really helping them. Uh, if we look at the number of clicks, the click-through rate is also better for Nikon. So maybe they are doing better targeting on social media. Maybe they're doing better conversions because the ad copy is good. But when it comes to reaching more people, this is where Canon did a better job. So maybe uh, timing of the ad, choosing the segmentation on Facebook. This is where Canon was better. So Nikon can learn something from Canon. Canon can learn something from Nikon, and then both the teams can improvise further. Okay, so there are improvement areas in both the cases. Purely on a business perspective, Canon is doing a better job. Okay, so by looking at the numbers, uh, the marketing team would pick up on what is going well, what is not going well, and then we keep on optimizing. The optimization happens through experiments. This is where we can bring in the A/B testing and so on and so forth, and try to be better over here. Okay, so Canon can actually do a A/B testing, maybe create another ad with maybe a small discount, and see which ad is performing better, is the conversion rate improving, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is about the piece. Now, this is where the concept of A/B testing applies, like you guys pointed. So we can create a variation of the ad, maybe but just by changing the color, one thing at a time, and look at for both variations where people are conversing more, and then we start putting more money on the ad where there is higher conversion. Okay, so this is a very simple concept of A/B testing, and I think over here uh, uh, we will kind of uh, end our session today on this piece itself, A/B testing part. There is another part which is called as conjoint analysis, which is where not only by changing one variable in the ad, we will change multiple things, and we will see how conjoint analysis can be used for comparing what feature is more important, what people are considering to be more important, and so on and so forth. Along with this, there are few pieces which are there from the NLP and word cloud and sentiment analysis. This is what, along with the pricing part, we will pick up in our session tomorrow, in the next week. And I don't want to rush through them because there are certain important parameters. We will also see this campaign. In fact, I'll show this campaign to you, which is there from Mercedes-Benz. This we can discuss right now, and then we will close the session for today. The rest of the topics I'll cover in our last session. Okay. So let me show you this ad, and in this campaign, see how Mercedes-Benz is trying to create attention for a luxury brand, how they're positioning themselves as a luxury brand, and why they are choosing a particular platform. So you guys observe this while you're looking at this ad for their product promotion.
It's not how far or fast you go, it's who follows you. This summer, 5 of Instagram's best photographers will hit the road for 5 days each, behind the wheel of the highly anticipated Mercedes-Benz CLA. Every post they share will count, because whoever gets the most likes during their week keeps the CLA. To watch the 5 journeys and support your favorite, follow at MBUSA on Instagram, and then apply to win a CLA yourself. Your Instagram feed will be your portfolio. If it best reflects the spirit of a CLA, not only will you take the 6th journey, you also keep the car. So take a chance. Take the moment. Take the wheel.
Okay, so this campaign actually went really viral, and you can see over here they've chosen Instagram as the platform for promoting Mercedes-Benz. Now, can you guys take a guess why Instagram for launching this new product, Mercedes-Benz? Why would they go for Instagram and not other platforms? Okay, because probably there is images, visual aspects. What else? So one part is what Subrit mentioned, visual appeal. What else apart from that? Who are they targeting on Instagram? Youth, right? So basically what is happening is they are telling the youth that, Mercedes-Benz is an aspirational brand. Not everyone can buy the brand product, but at least you should be aware about it. Okay. So youth with a short message to give a notion that, this is a luxury product. And luxury is because everyone can see it, but only few people can have it. Okay, so that is how they're positioning through this particular campaign. And from Instagram, they will look at the analytics. They will look at what is the impression going on, how many people are engaging, commenting, liking on the product ads. And then, of course, they've kept a very interesting thing, which is whoever wins the campaign, let's say out of those Instagram influencers or photographers, they will keep the CLA. So there is going to be a lot of engagement because there is thrill, there is a quiz going on. People would want to watch out for who won in this campaign and so on and so forth. So it created a lot of uh, buzz on social media when Mercedes-Benz had launched this campaign. And this is one of the ways in which people are combining advertising with the product and pricing analytics along with social media as a platform, and then trying to make the most of the decisions on the basis of this. Okay. So over here, I think this is it from my side for our session today. I think there is one requirement. I'm not sure if the poll has been launched. There is generally this feedback poll which upgrad team conducts towards the end of the session. So probably you guys fill in your feedbacks, and then I think we can close the session. I'm not sure if we have the feedback link for now. At least I don't have it. Okay, if so, from upgrad side, if there is someone, you can conduct your feedback poll. Otherwise, from my side, I'm done with the session. So thank you guys for joining in and for being there in the. Okay, it has been messaged over Telegram. All right, great, thanks. Thank you guys once again. Take care and have a nice weekend. We'll catch up in our next session, which we'll take it forward towards the last part, which is the campaign analytics part. It was lovely hosting you. Let's catch back in our next session. All right. Thank you. Take care. Best of luck for your simulations, by the way. Thank you.